In the IRL streaming world, a name has recently resurfaced and sparked a surprising amount of buzz online. We're talking about India Love and her unexpected appearances in streams with Kai Cenat and DDG. While one half of the internet remembers her unavoidable legacy, the other half is just confused. Who is she? Why is she acting like she's famous? And why does the streaming community suddenly care? Well, if you, like many others, have no idea who India Love truly is, this video is going to unpack everything about her, from her early rise to her quiet downfall, and why her name is trending again today. India Love is not your regular influencer. She became internet famous back in 2011, long before internet famous was even treated like a real career. She was the walking archive of the early Instagram era. Her face was everywhere on Tumblr, Facebook, and Twitter, long before algorithms could be manipulated or engagement could be strategically engineered. This was the era when going viral was accidental, organic, and genuinely chaotic. And yet she managed to dominate the digital space effortlessly. She didn't need interviews. She didn't need a PR team. She didn't need podcasts, collabs, or brand partnerships. She just posted selfies and short videos with her signature baddie aesthetic, and the internet watched, and watched, and watched. But fame that quick rarely comes without chaos. As time went on, her online presence began to be defined not just by her aesthetic, but by the scandals, the messy relationships, and the infamous online leaks that kept her name circulating for years. What started as harmless, quirky selfies slowly transformed into a brand centered on who she was dating, who she was arguing with, and what kind of men she attracted. India Love wasn't just an influencer. She was an early prototype of the internet it girl, complete with the drama that came with the title. Yet despite her early dominance in her family's powerful network, her career started slipping into quiet obscurity by the late 2010s. She popped up occasionally in brand deals, but they barely trended outside of her core fan base. For someone who once broke the internet at 15, her follower count and engagement today feels surprisingly modest, making people wonder what happened. How did someone this influential fade away? And what exactly caused her downfall? But here's the twist. She's suddenly trending again. She's back because the streaming world pulled her name straight into new drama, thanks to DDG, his bizarre relationship-centered storylines, and the internet's favorite hobby, digging up old flames and forgotten icons. Suddenly, people were reanalyzing her relationships, her past, her influence, and her role in shaping early Instagram culture. India Love's name is being tossed around YouTube streams, reaction channels, and Twitter threads like it's 2016 all over again. Except now, the nostalgia comes with confusion and the constant question, wait, where has she been? And that's what this documentary is here to explore. How India Love became one of the most iconic influencers of the 2010s, what led to her gradual downfall, and why she's being discussed again today. Because her story isn't just about beauty and fame. It's about the rise of a digital era and the cost of being an early internet it girl. So let's start from the beginning, shall we? Have you ever wondered why you're getting spam calls? I'm also getting them too, and recently it started getting so bad that I finally searched my own name online. What I found honestly shocked me. My old address, my phone number, and even an email I haven't used in years were all publicly listed on multiple data broker websites. I never gave anyone permission to post that, and suddenly the spam calls, random login attempts, and even a suspicious credit inquiry all made sense. These companies collect and sell your personal information without telling you, and removing it on your own is nearly impossible. That's exactly where Aura comes in. Aura automatically sends removal requests to data brokers on your behalf and keeps monitoring to make sure your info stays off those lists for good. You also get real-time alerts if your data hits the dark web, plus credit and banking fraud monitoring. Their all-in-one security app includes a secure VPN, antivirus, a password manager, and spam calling blocking to protect your devices. And if anything goes wrong, their 24/7 US-based support and $1 million identity theft insurance have your back. Take control of your privacy. Try Aura free for 14 days at aura.com/RKH. Now let's get back into the video. India Love Westbrooks is currently 28 years old. She comes from a big family and spent most of her childhood in Compton, California. During her early teen years, her father, Warren Westbrooks, who owned a company called Royal Blunts, saw massive growth in his business. This success eventually made him one of the most well-known and wealthiest businessmen in their area. Around that same period, India and her sisters began posting pictures on Tumblr, which was the platform of the moment. India is the sixth child of the Westbrooks family. She has 4 sisters, Crystal, Morgan, Brooke, and Bree, and 2 brothers, Blake and Warren G. Today, all the sisters are public figures in some way. Crystal is a TV personality, Morgan is a musician, and Bree is a plus-size model. The entire family has always had an impressive network connected to both the music and television industries, which has only expanded as their online visibility grew. When India joined Tumblr in 2011 and started posting raw selfies and photos, she wasn't the only one experiencing with social media. She and her sister Crystal consistently uploaded pictures, but for reasons even they couldn't fully explain, India gained far more traction. By 2012, she caught the attention of several bloggers and began racking up followers across different platforms at a shocking pace. People started labeling her the it girl of that era. And keep in mind, this was a time before filters were commonplace, and before anyone could artificially enhance a photo with one tap. India's pictures were praised for their natural lighting, perfect angles, and effortlessly stylish outfits. She looked polished without looking edited, which made her stand out even more. While talking about how their Tumblr branding began, Crystal explained, "We started about 4 years ago when India and I had the idea to post pictures of ourselves on Tumblr. My dad has this really expensive camera, and he would let us use it, and we would just go out and take still pictures, upload them to Tumblr, and people were like, 'We love the quality of the pictures, and we love the clothes they're wearing.' And just like that, India gained a level of visibility on Tumblr that very few teens at the time could dream of. According to multiple sources, by 2014, there wasn't a single platform where you could scroll without seeing one of India's photos floating through your feed. Her content had a recognizable formula: high-quality images, casual but posed aesthetics, early baddie energy, and that Tumblr-era softness that made everything feel dreamy and curated. Users loved it. They reblogged her photos, reposted her selfies, and interacted with her page daily. Her blog quickly became one of the most followed and shared in that part of the internet. Hundreds of people were reblogging her images every day, and thousands more quietly watched from the sidelines as India Love became one of the most influential digital faces of the early 2010s. People at this point were also obsessed with copying her fashion style, tracking what tattoos she got, and taking inspiration from her uncanny sense of aesthetics. There were countless comparison photos of fans recreating her entire outfits and reposting the side-by-side edits on Tumblr. There were even threads where people discussed her hair length and tried to guess how she maintained it. That's how intense her early 2010s fandom was. Her rise on Tumblr was so big that the media eventually took notice. When she and her sisters accumulated millions of followers, it didn't just attract casual attention, it pulled in bloggers, trend reporters, and eventually entertainment outlets who recognized that something unusual was happening with the Westbrook sisters. As Tumblr's influence started to fade, India smoothly transitioned to Instagram, where her popularity took on a completely new trajectory. This shift put her in front of an even larger audience, and soon it wasn't just social media users paying attention. Numerous modeling agencies began noticing her look, her aesthetic, and her online impact. Before 2015 even began, she had already partnered with multiple brands and booked various modeling gigs, along with landing a whole family reality show on BET. In the years that followed, write-ups and retrospectives highlighted her as one of the OG Instagram influencers, essentially a pioneer of the category before influencing became an industry. And honestly, it wouldn't be wrong to say that India's massive visibility was what pulled her entire family into the spotlight. Through her rise, people discovered her sisters, followed their pages, and collectively pushed the entire Westbrooks family into the world of online fame. All the things we've told you so far paint the bright side of India's early fame, but everything behind the scenes wasn't smooth sailing. In fact, one of the biggest reasons people believe India never managed to build the massive Instagram following she should have had was the non-stop catfishing. Ever since her Tumblr rise, people had been obsessing over her photos, but not always in the right ways. There were countless impersonation pages made in her name, designed to attract viewers, steal her identity, and confuse her actual audience. Her pictures were reposted everywhere: beauty blogs, aesthetic pages, anonymous Tumblr accounts, fan pages that weren't really fans at all. And this was all happening during the era when social media had no verification system. There were no blue ticks, no official markers, nothing to help users distinguish a real account from a fake one. Anybody could steal someone's pictures, pretend to be them, and rack up hundreds of thousands of followers. So there was literally nothing India could do to secure her identity or stop her pictures from being used by catfish accounts. The only tool she had was her own voice. Every once in a while, she would post a video on Tumblr or YouTube explaining which accounts were actually hers and which ones were impersonators. But even then, the problem grew faster than she could address it.
I keep deleting them and I keep coming back. But this is my only Tumblr. So yeah. Okay. Hi, Facebook. I'm making this video for one reason, and that's because I have a lot of fake profiles, and I'm getting really mad that, like, some people just don't believe that I'm the real India or whatever. Well, I just want to let everybody know that I only have one Facebook, and it's this one, India Lolcow. That's my real name. I don't have any other Facebook. They make fake in my Facebook too to make it look like they're real, but they're really not. And yeah, just know that I only have one Facebook and it's this one. I only have one Twitter, one Tumblr, one everything. Just hit me up if you want to know that. But I just have to teach you guys that I only have one.
The confusion became so bad that even her loyal, longtime watchers found themselves lost. People would comment under various pages asking whether they were following the real India Love or yet another catfish. Entire threads were dedicated to figuring out which page belonged to her, and the overwhelming number of copycat profiles made it almost impossible to tell. This chaos had a real impact on her public presence. Her following didn't necessarily shrink, but the growth she should have had was fragmented. Instead of directing new fans to her actual accounts, thousands of people were consuming her photos and videos through these catfish pages. Her content was spreading everywhere, reaching huge audiences, but those viewers weren't landing on her official pages. They were boosting the impersonators. And this is widely believed to be one of the biggest reasons why, even today, India doesn't have the massive social media following you'd expect from someone who is considered one of the original Instagram influencers. Her official Instagram sits at just over 6 million followers, which is noticeably lower than many newer influencers who didn't even exist online when she dominated Tumblr. Given that she was one of the earliest and most influential Instagram it girls, her follower count seems surprisingly modest. But when you look back at the amount of impersonation, stolen content, and identity confusion she dealt with, the numbers suddenly make a lot more sense. But that's not the only thing that created a hindrance in her social media career. From the very start, India's online presence was surrounded by controversy. While people undeniably loved her pictures and were captivated by her aesthetic, there was also a large portion of the internet that mocked her, or used her bold online image for clout. From the beginning, India's content relied heavily on extremely bold photos that showed a lot of skin. She was undeniably beautiful, and she looked far more mature than her actual age, which made people perceive her in a certain way. Even the modeling gigs she received early on portrayed her in a very grown, highly manner. A lot of people argued at the time that these shoots were inappropriate and overly provocative for someone her age. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with a professional model choosing to present herself boldly. The problem in India's case was that during the height of her Tumblr era, and even shortly after, India was still a minor. She started her public career at just 15 years old, which means many of these modeling assignments were given to her while she was still underage. Yet during that time, instead of holding the adults responsible, people turned their criticism toward India herself. They began character shaming her, calling her names, accusing her of posting bold photos for attention, using her looks for clout, and portraying her as overly. People also spread rumors that she had undergone multiple cosmetic surgeries because of how mature her body looked. Many accused her of doing everything she did for male validation, reducing her entire online presence to a stereotype rather than acknowledging the adults who had shaped her public image. What stands out today is how few people questioned the behavior of the companies hiring her. No one asked why these brands were using a minor in such bold shoots. No one pointed fingers at the professionals responsible for creating these images. And very few questioned why her parents or guardians allowed her to participate in such work at such a young age. To make matters worse, a large portion of the internet believed India had intentionally lied about her age This was entirely untrue. Her Tumblr archives and other social media posts clearly showed she was still in high school during her rise. Eventually, people realized she was actually the victim in this situation. Yet she was the one being judged and scrutinized while the adults in the room escaped accountability. As we move further into her story, you'll start to notice this pattern repeating itself. Throughout her career, her brand gradually shifted from polished Tumblr icon to someone whose entire public image revolved around who she was dating next. Every relationship she entered became a spectacle. The men in her life frequently disrespected her online. Some threatened to leak her photos, others dragged her publicly, and many weaponized her reputation for attention. And each time, instead of calling out the men involved, the internet turned the blame back onto India. Now, we cannot say she was completely innocent in all of this. As she grew older, she could have made smarter decisions, distanced herself from chaos, or avoided situations that invited unnecessary controversy. But in many ways, she leaned into the drama. She often behaved like someone trying to win the approval of the very people mistreating her, which only attracted more negative attention. India's story is complicated, not because she's a villain or a saint, but because she grew up online in a world that constantly judged her body, her choices, her relationships, and even her age. And the consequences of that followed her long into adulthood. The most highlighted aspect of India's eventual downfall was also her affiliation, or rumored affiliation, with the long list of high-profile men in the entertainment industry. And some of these men were questionably older than her. Over the years, she was linked to names like The Game, Lil Yachty, Soulja Boy, Justin Combs, Drake, Rich the Kid, Rick Ross, Sheck Wes, and many, many others. At one point, the internet shifted its entire perception of her. India was no longer just the Tumblr it girl. She became viewed as a socialite who dated influential men for visibility or attention. The speculation got so intense that people were constantly analyzing who she was spotted with, who she was flirting with online, and who she might be dating next. So how did it all start? It began with her first public breakup with her high school boyfriend, Ron Robinson. Ron was an aspiring football player, getting scouted by Ivy League colleges, with a genuinely promising future ahead of him. The two started dating around 2010, when India was about 14. She often shared photos of them on Tumblr and other platforms, and because followers were already obsessed with her, they quickly fell in love with the couple dynamic too. Their fan base even made a hashtag Randia. People practically worshipped them. India was beautiful, charismatic, and already iconic online. Ron was tall, athletic, and handsome. Together, their pictures gave power couple energy way before that term even became popular. Blogs reposted their photos, fans rooted for them daily, and many people genuinely saw them as teenage relationship goals. But like most high school romances, this one eventually came to an end. When Ron got scouted by UCLA, everything changed. Around the time India was 18 and entering her senior year, Ron reportedly broke up with her and moved away to college. For regular couples, that would have been a private heartbreak. But when you're an internet couple, people feel entitled to their opinions. Rumors quickly started circulating. Some accused India of cheating. Others assumed Ron left her because of her bold online persona. People projected every possible narrative onto their breakup. Later, in a podcast, India clarified what actually happened. She explained that Ron left because he had moved away, was meeting new people, and wanted to start fresh. The breakup happened over the phone, and just like that, their years-long relationship ended.
The summer of 9th grade, so basically like since 9th grade, my whole until high school. So I take it very offensive that he did this to me because it was just crazy.
She got her chest out.
He said, I'm going to high school and there's going to be girls that want to do my, yes, I'm going to college and there's going to be girls that want to do my homework, that are going to do my laundry, and I would rather break up with you now so that I won't, have the temptation to cheat on you or anything of that sort. So I'm just letting you know here that it's done.
He said that to you? He
said that to me. No, it was a phone conversation. It was a phone conversation.
You gotta do that over the phone.
No, it was a phone conversation.
You gotta do.
People who genuinely followed India could sense a drastic shift in her demeanor after this breakup. Right around this time, she also turned 18, graduated from high school, and entered adulthood. Almost overnight, she began getting linked to a lineup of high-profile men. Rappers, athletes, singers. Anyone she interacted with, posed with, or simply stood next to in a photo became a rumored romantic interest. Her brand, which was once centered around her family life, her selfies, her bold aesthetics, and her rise as an online baddie, suddenly shifted. It stopped being about who India Love was and became almost entirely about who she was dating. The internet turned her relationships into her identity. And once the narrative took off, people didn't care whether the rumors were true or not. Scandal sold better than the truth. This period marks the start of a new era for India. The very first major wave of rumors surrounding India Love's dating life came from claims that she was involved with 4 high-profile men at the same time. And these weren't just any men, they were big names. Between 2014 and 2017, the internet linked her to Brandon Wimberly, Justin Combs, Soulja Boy, and even The Game. Several online blogs pushed the narrative that she was messing with all 4 simultaneously, which is insane considering these outlets had zero evidence. Everything was built on speculation, screenshots, and vibes. Rumors about Indian footballer Brandon Wimberly began after a few pictures of them together surfaced online. At the time, Brandon was around 25 while India was barely 18. As always, the internet split itself into 2 camps. Some people dragged India again, calling her a pick-me and accusing her of chasing older men for attention. Others highlighted how inappropriate it was for a 25-year-old man to be even loosely linked to a teenager. Since neither party confirmed nor denied anything, the speculation eventually fizzled out by mid-2014. But the internet didn't give her a break for long. Almost immediately, another rumor lined up, this time involving Justin Combs. Around May 2014, India was spotted with him, and she also posted a couple of photos that sent people into overdrive. Without any confirmation, the internet decided they must be dating. However, during a recent interview, India finally addressed it. When asked why people were so convinced she dated Justin, she explained that all she did was take pictures with him. For her entire career, if she stood next to someone for more than 2 seconds, the internet magically turned it into a relationship.
So how does a man have to, in order for you to be like, yes, let's go on a date or whatever, what does a man have to do? Like, how does he have to approach you? How does he have to pursue you?
Very humble, you know, I like very humble. I like the quiet ones a little bit.
So watch out for the quiet ones, though.
Yeah, but more so like, you know, when you're in a room, the one that's not more so speaking than the other one that's just, you know, loud, trying to be shiny and all that shit. I don't usually go for those types. I go for the more conservative type. Because they teach me more. Like, I feel like the ones that are quiet really have been through some shit and they know a lot about life and they're just willing to teach. So
that is so interesting, India, because we know who you've been with and we know, you know, like your ex-boyfriends and stuff like that. Like,
or what the media would say is my ex-boyfriend.
Okay, so maybe you could clear that up for us then. So did you date Justin Combs? That wasn't your boyfriend?
No, that wasn't my boyfriend.
So why did everybody say that was your boyfriend?
Because we took pictures together. And everybody, they think any man that I take a picture with, they think is my boyfriend. So it's very frustrating that everybody has this, you know, persona of me dating all these people, but I love taking pictures. I love memories. I hang pictures all in my freaking house every day. So if I feel like taking a picture with somebody and they want to post it or I want to post it, it just doesn't necessarily mean I'm dating them or in a relationship with them. Just vibing, getting to know the person, seeing if it can grow into something. And in that case with Justin, it was just, you know, on a friend basis.
While her alleged association with Justin Combs turned out to be nothing more than rumors, one connection in this era actually had some substance. That, of course, was her situation with Soulja Boy, and the now infamous mini-beef it sparked with Lil Yachty. According to various online sources, Soulja Boy and India had some sort of connection between 2013 and 2015. Whether it was dating, talking, or just flirting is unclear. What is clear is that Soulja Boy appeared in the Westbrook's BET reality show in 2015, and one particular episode had a very obvious flirtatious moment between the two. So even if nothing official happened, there was definitely something in the air. Things escalated in 2016 when Soulja Boy started openly posting photos of India on Instagram with captions like, "I love you" and "I miss you." Shortly after, he uploaded screenshots of messages from Lil Yachty, who allegedly told him that India was his girl and demanded that Soulja remove her photos. Soulja absolutely refused. He then went on a full posting spree, sharing screenshots of conversations with Yachty, posting more messages with India, and throwing subtle shade. In one caption, he even wrote something along the lines of, "How could India possibly be Lil Yachty's girl when he had been rocking with her for years?" While Lil Yachty stayed silent and surprisingly positive throughout the situation, Soulja Boy did the complete opposite. He kept dragging Yachty online, throwing shade, using derogatory language, and even threatening him. It was a full-blown, one-sided feud. Amid all the chaos, India appeared genuinely confused on Twitter. She tweeted, "Am I missing something?" and then followed it up with another post essentially warning Soulja Boy to keep her name out of the drama. She clarified that she wasn't with Lil Yachty and she wasn't with Soulja Boy either. But despite her attempts to distance herself, Soulja Boy kept insisting that he had slept with India and even claimed he had proof. That supposed proof never surfaced, but many people still chose to believe the narrative and continued assuming she had some involvement with both men. Now, around the same period all of this was unfolding, another rumor entered the chat. India Love was supposedly dating rapper The Game. But before getting into that, here's a very disturbing detail. At this time, The Game was around 34 or 35 years old, while India was barely 18. Some sources even suggested that The Game had ties to her family before they allegedly began dating in 2014. This rumored relationship generated a lot of negative attention for both of them, especially after a couple of photos were leaked online. Reportedly, someone snapped pictures of The Game in India at a public park. In those pictures, The Game appeared to be doing something extremely inappropriate in a public setting. Those leaked photos instantly grabbed media attention and pushed both India and The Game under intense scrutiny. And once again, while many people found the whole situation unsettling, a large portion of the internet still chose to blame India for it. To be fair, many others did call out The Game for getting involved with an 18-year-old girl and pointed out how questionable, if not outright predatory, the age gap was. Meanwhile, some defended him by saying India was a legal adult. She made her own choices, and therefore the relationship wasn't wrong. The internet stayed divided, but the criticism toward The Game was definitely louder than usual. Interestingly, these old photos resurfaced last year when a video of The Game went viral, showing him allegedly assaulting a 22-year-old suspected child predator. As the video circulated, people immediately drew comparisons and questioned the hypocrisy. Viewers couldn't help but ask, how was The Game beating up a 22-year-old alleged predator when he himself had been publicly seen with an 18-year-old while he was in his mid-30s?
What's going on here?
Nothing.
How old are you?
Nothing.
How old are you? 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 How old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22?
Yeah.
How old is he? No, I am.
Fuck you with my business, bro.
What's going on?
I just wanted to. You just wanted to do what?
I think we should
Like
put
you
his
got
head
a,
in the
nah,
toilet.
bro, you got a sick bro. You got a sickness, bro. You need to cure yourself. And this is part of your healing, man.
What's even weirder is that after the relationship, or whatever that was, ended, The Game actually met up with Ron Robinson, India's high school sweetheart, and uploaded a video with him.
Hey, yo, shut it with my little bro, man. We in here, man. It's called, if I fuck you and he fuck you, you fuck. Yeah.
It's sad as hell, right? You've got an almost 40-year-old man talking about a 19-year-old girl like it's entertainment. It's disgusting, especially considering The Game now has a daughter of his own. And Ron clowning India like that was just immature and honestly pathetic. India had never said anything bad about him online, not once, yet here he was laughing along for attention. This video is unnecessary on every level and weird as hell. And the people who genuinely supported India, those who saw past all the constant character shaming and misogyny thrown at her, did call these two out. They recognized how degenerate and embarrassing this behavior was, especially coming from grown men who should have known better. After this entire fiasco and incident, India Love's reputation was practically in shambles within the industry. If her name showed up anywhere in the news, it was always tied to rumors, scandals, or men dragging her into drama she never asked for. And what made it worse was that the men she was associated with never showed her any real respect either. She was labeled with disgusting names, mocked online, and reduced to stereotypes, despite being extremely young when all of this was happening to her. After the situation with the game, India was once again linked to much older men who never publicly acknowledged her, never confirmed anything, and certainly never defended her. For example, she was rumored to have dated Cliff Dixon, an American basketball player, from March 2016 to September 2016. Again, nothing was confirmed, but the internet ran with it as if it were fact. Around that same time, she was also linked with Rick Ross and Drake. And the Drake situation was especially bizarre. He had just ended things with Rihanna, and suddenly by October 2016, gossip pages began reporting that Drake and India were secretly seeing each other, and that he didn't want the information out. Some pages even claimed that Drake had previously dated India's older sister, Crystal, and that Crystal was subtweeting India during this time. Crystal did post cryptic tweets back then, which only added fuel to the fire, making people believe that there was tension between the sisters over Drake. But even today, none of these rumors have ever been confirmed by anyone involved. Still, in late 2016, speculation about India and Drake was everywhere. People were acting as though these stories were verified facts, even though they were never anything more than internet whispers. Despite all the speculation, India seldom spoke about her relationships. She stayed quiet, rarely addressed rumors, and almost never unpacked her personal life publicly. That's why her relationship with Devin Haney, a well-known professional boxer, was such a shift. They began dating publicly in 2021, and for once it was a confirmed, real relationship. From the start, their romance was very visible. They posted each other, celebrated milestones together, and shared cute couple moments online. One of the most memorable was when Devin gifted India a 2022 Range Rover, a moment that went viral instantly. Fans loved their dynamic, seeing it as one of India's more stable, wholesome relationships.
You know how we carried it? OTF, only the family, big timers. Big 2022. And it's 2022, we ain't even come out yet. Let them know, Chips.
Huh? You didn't catch that. Oh, just in my new 2022 HSE. Don't forget about it.
But in 2023, the relationship quietly ended. There was no drama, no messy public fallout, and no back and forth. They simply announced through media outlets that they were no longer together, marking the end of their 2-year relationship. What's wild in all of this, though, is that India never stepped forward to clarify all the rumors people built around her for years. The internet spent literal years obsessing over who she was dating, who she was sleeping with, and every tiny man-related piece of gossip. And even when she did address things, people refused to believe her. They chose rumors over reality simply because the drama was more entertaining. She spoke about this during an interview, finally shedding light on her perspective. Another thing people got wrong is that I've dated all these men. That's probably the #1 thing that people have gotten wrong about me. But just because I might take a photo with a guy doesn't mean that I'm dating him, effing him, or none of that. That just means that I'm getting to know the person, having a good time, and wanted to share it with the world. She further added, "As far as my love life is concerned, I have definitely learned the hard way not to react to situations out of excitement. Instead, I've learned to let the relationship move at its own pace, to keep my business as private as possible, and to focus on the relationship more than what others say about it. I think that's the major key." These statements gave people a rare glimpse into her side of the story, something she rarely ever shared. But even then, many refused to drop the assumptions. There were groups of people convinced that India herself was creating these rumors to keep her name relevant, as if she needed chaos to maintain her social media presence. They argued that since she wasn't a musician or a traditional celebrity, just a socialite and model, the scandals kept her in the spotlight. And one of the main reasons people leaned into this theory was the constant appearance of India's photos and private videos online. These incidents weren't rare. There were multiple moments when she was exposed in public, and every time something leaked, it added more fuel to the speculation. When you look at how repeatedly these incidents happened, it's easy to see why people assumed she might be leaking the photos herself just to stay relevant. What made the situation even more suspicious in the eyes of the public was the timing. These leaks always seemed to surface exactly when her name was fading into obscurity. Her online presence would quiet down, people would stop talking about her, and suddenly a leaked picture or clip would appear, and like clockwork, she would be back in the news cycle again. Because of this pattern, a large portion of the internet fully believed she was intentionally leaking her own content just to stay in the game. We can't say if any of this is true or not, but what we can say is that if she really did this, it's genuinely sad, especially considering how incredibly young she was when all of this was happening. Now, another thing people often wonder about India is her multiple attempts to revive her career. She comes from a wealthy, somewhat influential family in California. As we mentioned earlier, her father owned a company called Royal Blunts, along with a few other small ventures. His company was widely recognized in the hip-hop industry for its cigars and related products. India's sister Morgan also pursued an aspiring music career. She appeared in several music videos and maintained connections within the industry. India herself was frequently seen hanging out with major names such as Kylie Jenner, The Game, Nicki Minaj, and Drake. But despite having an influential family, strikingly good looks, and incredible connections across the entertainment world, India somehow never managed to build or sustain the kind of career many believed she was destined to have, and people still wonder why. It's not like she was only ever in the news for controversies. She made multiple attempts to revive her career through reality shows, music videos, collaborations, and public appearances, but nothing ever fully clicked. A major example is her reality show, The Westbrooks, which was discontinued after just one season. Before the show aired, there was genuine hype. India was still in her Instagram era with her viral photos, massive aesthetic influence, and mysterious persona. So when BET finally took notice of her controversial but undeniably interesting image, they decided to produce a reality show centered around her entire family. The show premiered in October 2015 and focused on the Westbrooks' family dynamic and glamorous lifestyle and their attempt to navigate fame. At the time, people were comparing them to the Kardashians and genuinely believed the show had major potential. But once it actually aired, everything fell flat. The biggest issue with the Westbrooks was the overwhelming amount of awkwardness and the surprisingly boring storylines. Fans who at this point only seen India through curated photos were expecting a magnetic personality. Instead, they found her dull, overly dramatic, and sometimes even rude. During interviews later, India admitted she had been uncomfortable with the project from the very beginning. She didn't feel she was the right fit for a family reality show and only joined because her sisters wanted to be part of it. She also mentioned that during the filming and editing process, she felt misrepresented. According to her, the producers intentionally edited her scenes to make her seem mean, cold, and bitchy, creating a persona that didn't reflect who she really was.
I make mistakes and everything just like any other, young girl would, but since I'm on this, microscope and I feel like everybody's watching me, it's like 10 times more whatever. Right. So it's very hard to deal with. But
isn't that what you want though? Like you want that, not necessarily the negative attention, but don't you want that spotlight?
I look at it as me being a walking example for, the youth or whoever is looking at me, because I've been through a lot of stuff. I made a lot of mistakes, but I feel like I am here to just be the person to be like, yo, even though this happened to me, I'm here doing other things and I'm, on some positive new shit, and shit happens. I was a young lady and, I make mistakes and I'm here to grow through it and, do my thing.
At 17, what was it that India Love said she wanted to do?
17? I don't think I had the,
because when the camera's on, when the show was going on, did you feel like, okay, this is something that I want to be into? Or was
I more so wanted to be a model.
Got you, okay.
That was where my head was at. And then, as the reality show and everything came about, showing my personality was very hard because on reality TV, they kind of monitorize and get to edit out whatever they want. So it kind of made me come off on a bitchy side, I would say.
That is like...
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. Exactly. See, so that's how I kind of like shied away from that, because I just felt,
I ain't gonna do shit.
I got into it was just a very hard, difficult time because I was very young. I was, really early in my teens, so it was just like I don't know how to switch that role into becoming like on TV on global scale. Then I'm really like in high school every day doing like regular shit. So. Right. It was a challenge, but, I wouldn't say I'm against doing it again. It's just I have to be real, cautious of how they portray me to be on TV.
If we look back at some clips from the Westbrooks, it's quite evident that India did appear very bitchy and mean in some episodes. One of the most infamous incidents included her trying to prove she was better than other girls. Unfortunately, moments like this only reinforced how people already viewed her. The internet had long criticized her for her bold online persona, controversial dating history, and mature appearance at a young age. So when the show aired and clips went viral of India appearing dismissive or abrasive, people instantly labeled her an insufferable pick-me and a general nuisance. And that was the turning. Instead of boosting her popularity, the Westbrooks damaged her image even further. What was supposed to be her big mainstream break ended up highlighting everything people already judged her for. The common consensus at the time was that while India looked glamorous and bold in photo shoots, in reality she appeared awkward, bitchy, and extremely introverted most of the time. Apart from certain moments where she acted overly dramatic or mean, there were entire episodes in which she barely spoke at all. This felt strange, especially because the show was centered around her and she was essentially marketed as the main star. The fact that India was only 18 during filming also didn't help. Around the same time the show aired, many of her controversies, particularly those involving the game and other older personalities, began resurfacing online. The situation with the game became heavily highlighted and created a lot of noise, to the point where interviewers repeatedly brought it up.
People are comparing you guys to the Kardashians and saying, like, this is the new Kardashians on TV. What do you guys think about that comparison?
I feel like it's a comparison because we're sisters.
But they're not the first family to be on reality TV. There's so many other families and women that are on reality TV. They just, I don't know why
The
they're
Braxtons, there's a whole bunch of families that have reality TV that
They're bomb women, but
it's not really a comparison.
Yeah.
And then recently, a lot of people have been having things to say about you and your relationship with Game. Can you update us on what's happening?
There's no update. I mean, I'm just living my life by myself, and that's it.
BET likely did not want to explore the topic of an 18-year-old girl being linked to men nearly twice her age. Covering situations like that on a family reality show carried its own risks, and many people believe this contributed to the show falling flat and quietly disappearing. There were also other moments on the show that just didn't sit right with viewers. One example is when the entire family confronted India about her social media photos being too provocative. People immediately called the scene hypocritical, considering the entire show was greenlit because of India's online fame and bold image. Another instance was India opening up about wanting breast reduction surgery. The conversation played out throughout multiple scenes, and at one point the family even discouraged her from going through with it. Viewers felt the discussion was inappropriate, considering she was only 18. On top of that, a debate sparked online about the show's editing choices. Many argued the creatives India's body unnecessarily, especially given how young she was. All of these factors contributed to the show not being renewed for a second season. Many fans argued that the Westbrooks was India's chance to become the next Kylie Jenner, but due to her visible discomfort, her introverted personality, and her inability to carry the show with the same charisma she displayed on Instagram, the opportunity slipped away. The controversies happening simultaneously also made the show more of a liability than a success. After the reality TV experiment failed, the sisters went their separate ways. Around 2017 to 2018, India decided to pivot into music. She credits this decision almost entirely to will.i.am. According to her, they had worked together on the same brand promotions, and during that time he sat her down, told her he saw potential in her, and encouraged her to explore music seriously. Since she was around 22 at the time, she decided to give it a genuine try.
It was kind of one of those things where it was an opportunity that was presented, and I would be crazy to say no because of who it was, which is will.i.am.
Okay.
Shout out to him, he's amazing.
Yeah.
It just started, I started out being the brand ambassador for his Apple headphones called Buttons in Apple stores worldwide, if you guys want to go get them.
I like that.
And then he sat me down like 2-3 weeks later and was like, I see more in you that you see in yourself maybe, and I would possibly love to take that out of you and bring it out.
Let's get this money.
Right, yeah, and I'm just like, my shy side kicked in, and I just took a step, and I'm like, okay, but then I was just like, I'm just gonna try it because why not?
Yeah.
And I did, and I literally got in the booth that night, and he put me in there, and I made my first song, Lolcow, which is on YouTube.
Her first single, Lolcow, dropped around 2017, but the song felt more like an influencer dabbling in music rather than a solid artistic debut. Many people dragged the track for relying heavily on auto-tune, for its breathy vocals, and for lyrics that felt repetitive and underdeveloped. Even though the song had a full music video and clear promotional effort behind it, Lolcow simply failed to generate the buzz India had hoped for. It was overshadowed almost instantly by her public image and by the controversies that continued to hover around her name. Instead of becoming a rebrand or the beginning of a new chapter, her entry into music felt like yet another attempt that just didn't land the way it could have. After this, she released 2 more singles, but they also struggled to gain traction. None of them managed to attract real engagement or carve out an identity for her as a musical artist. By 2019, India quietly stepped away from the idea of pursuing music again and returned to focusing on being a socialite. Then came more controversies, more leaks, and more rumors. But in 2025, India shifted towards something that actually made her substantial money and gave her a different kind of exposure. In mid-2025, she created an OnlyFans account. Almost immediately, multiple news outlets reported that her earnings on the platform are reaching up to $1 million, which led to a wave of headlines about her sudden financial success.
Because you've been in this for so long, I don't know if this is true, but a quick Google search says that your net worth is $1 million. Is that accurate?
I don't know.
Do you feel like it's close? Is your lifestyle like kind of close to that?
See, I take care of a lot of my family, so I don't really even see a lot of like, what's that staple number? I do know that I've made more than that in my life, so I guess that's not as accurate. It's probably higher than that.
But even on OnlyFans, she wasn't free from the problems that had followed her for years. Some of her OnlyFans content ended up being leaked online, which sparked conversations about privacy, security, and the platform's overall reliability. Many people questioned how sustainable or safe the site truly was when even creators with India's resources and visibility couldn't prevent leaks. The surprising part, however, was that despite earning a massive amount from the platform, India chose to quit OnlyFans in June 2025. She discussed this decision in a sit-down interview where she explained why she walked away from such a lucrative opportunity. She said that even though the platform brought in serious money, she disliked the way people perceived her because of it. According to her, no matter how artsy or stylized her content was, the moment she entered major meetings or professional settings, people would sneer or reduce her identity to being an OnlyFans model. She also shared that she's older now, has nieces and nephews, and cares deeply about what they think of her. Continuing with OnlyFans no longer aligned with the image she wanted to maintain or the legacy she hoped to build.
What has been like the most lucrative for you thus far? Would you say it's like music? Would it be like OnlyFans? Would it be streaming now?
I think OnlyFans was the most lucrative. But I stopped.
Oh, you off
Yeah, I stopped OnlyFans probably like the beginning of this year.
Why? If it was lucrative, you should have kept running it up.
It definitely was lucrative, but I felt like I just didn't like going into these bigger meetings and like once they hear the words OnlyFans, they kind of just turn the cheek or like they have a certain perspective about you. Even though my OnlyFans content was very tasteful, it was very artsy, I did it magazine style mostly, like I was very into making it look art rather than raunchy. So it was like, it benefited me very well, but at the same time, I just am in a different phase in my life. I'm getting older, I have nephews and nieces, I really give a f about how they feel about me and what they see about me. And it just kind of like, just, you know, organically just was like, this doesn't feel right.
It takes a very like conscious and mature decision to like walk away from something that was making you the most bread.
Trust me. Trust me.
In another clip, India talked about how she regretted her bold era, posting provocative photos, showing off her body, and participating in the hyper image she once had embraced. She mentioned that men would often approach her with lustful assumptions, believing they already knew who she was based entirely on what she posted online.
I was a very hard-headed young lady. I definitely was not listening to a lot of people. Like, I just beat to my own drum. I did what I wanted to do, and that's just that. And I don't regret it, but if I would have listened a lot more, I definitely would have, life definitely would have been a little different for me, but that's not what God wanted me to do, so I'm okay with that. Niche! I love you, Niche!
Now that we've discussed some of India's choices and how her downfall began, let's take a step back and look at the parts of her life that may have shaped who she is today. A lot of people accuse India of using her beauty to gain validation from men, especially considering her controversial dating history, and how she's often been seen with men much older than her. It's an easy narrative to push, and for a long time that was the only story many people believed, but the truth is there is so much more to it than that. Most people only see India living a luxurious lifestyle, always dressed in designer clothes, constantly surrounded by attention and fame. Even her family's reality TV show presented a picture of a glamorous, confident, and tightly connected family who seemed completely comfortable in front of the camera. From the outside, it looked like she grew up in a perfectly supportive household with loving parents and close siblings. And to be fair, India has said she does have a good relationship with her family. In an interview, she talked about moving in with her sister Brooke after high school and said she loved having her around. So yes, there was real closeness there.
Because I've been living alone since I've been out of high school, but I always, I had a sister, I had my sister live with me at my first spot, and then my second spot, my sister came. I always love to have someone at home with me because I don't even like being at home by myself.
However, what people did not see, and what India only began to open up about years later, is that behind that polished image were deeper emotional struggles that shaped the way she views herself and the way she seeks validation. After all, nobody searches for approval and love that intensely without a reason. India's story goes far beyond the surface that the internet fixates on. India has said that for a long time she felt overlooked, even within her own family circle, and that her opinions did not matter. According to her, a lot of those feelings began in middle school. A major reason she lost confidence while growing up was that she faced heavy bullying throughout middle school and high school. She attended and graduated from Santiago High School, known for its noble alumni, but it wasn't all that great from India. And even today, when you look at her online presence, it's not surprising that she's always been on the receiving end of hate comments, both from the internet and from people around her. For someone who has been publicly judged and ridiculed for most of her life, the impact of that kind of constant criticism is hard to ignore. She has spoken about the bullying many times in interviews. In one particular interview, she explained that when she first joined school, many of the girls were extremely mean to her and made her feel isolated on purpose. She said she did not have any friends at all and would often eat her lunch alone in the locker room. It was a period where she felt invisible and constantly excluded, and those experiences had a lasting effect on her confidence.
When it started, really, it was in middle school. I went to this Christian middle school. No, it was I think it was a Christian middle school. I don't think it was Catholic. It was a Christian middle school. It was in Corona. And that was more so you know how on those movies, everybody's clicked up, they don't accept the new girl that's cute type thing. Mm-hmm. It was given very much that, because it's Corona. It's
Mean Girls.
Yeah, it was definitely given that. So I didn't have no friends, and they loved the fact that I was isolated, and I would see it all over their faces. And I dealt with internet bullying, so I kind of knew how to navigate through it, which is to not take it so personal and to not put so much attention on it. Yeah. But in the time of middle school, I used to eat my lunch in the bathroom, because the bathroom was a locker room / bathroom, so they had benches and shit. But I didn't like feeling not accepted.
While it's easy to assume that a popular Instagram personality like India would have no trouble making friends, the reality was actually the complete opposite. According to India herself, being internet famous did not help her at all in school. She said that many people were jealous, or they already had strong opinions about her because of what she posted online, what she wore, or how she presented herself. Instead of admiration, it often made her a target, and it only added more pressure to an already difficult environment. She also talked about how she was extremely spiritual while growing up. She attended a Christian school, and she said that the only way she learned to cope with the hate and bullying was through prayer. For her, faith became a form of protection and the only place she felt safe when everything around her felt hostile. But bullying is not the only part of her childhood that leaves people feeling sad for her. Apart from being constantly picked on at school, she also faced serious trauma at a very young age, something she has spoken about openly in a video. She explained that because of the incident that happened in her childhood, she grew up feeling like her opinions did not matter, and that she did not deserve respect even within her own family. It affected the way she saw herself and the way she communicated with the people around her.
I didn't have the confidence to have a voice to speak up and say my opinion, anything. I just wasn't, I would have it in my head and it would be bubbling up to say something, and I literally would not never say anything. And to be honest, if I'm being real, it stemmed from my childhood trauma. I've told this story before, and I don't want to bring light or highlight to it, but something happened to me when I was younger. And when that happened to me, it kind of silenced me because I didn't know how to deal with it at all. Something happened that me up, like, you know, like with family, and it just wasn't, I don't even want to bring it up, but...
She said that after this incident, she stayed silent for a long time and struggled with serious confidence issues. It reached a point where she was terrified of speaking up during class presentations and could not even read from a teleprompter because she hated presenting herself in front of people or being seen in the public eye.
To the point where I didn't feel comfortable even speaking up for myself. Not in my household, to my family, not in situations and relationships with men. Presentations in class, you could even see that on College Hill Celebrity Edition. My grown ass went to the bathroom and started crying at my grown ass age because I didn't want to speak in front of the class. And it was only like 7 people in front of the class, but these people were like, I cared about how they felt or whatever, you know?
Now, it is fair that a lot of people question her when she shares things like this. For instance, some ask if she really struggled that much, how did she even have a show centered around her and her family? But if you go back and watch the old clips, you'll notice that most of the time India stayed completely on the sidelines and preferred to remain quiet. It is entirely possible that the events she talks about had a profound effect on her. She's also mentioned that it took her many years to break free from that cycle. She sought therapy to better understand herself and figure out the person she wanted to become. Interestingly, she said that part of this journey and the therapy itself was documented on the reality TV show.
Like, I really did the self-work, I'm not gonna lie. I had one therapist, and that was on the reality TV show, which was College Hill Celebrity Edition. But that therapist, she really helped me write down questions that are really, really essential, like, who is India Love? Like, who is India Love? Like, not just the content creator, the model, blah, 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 but who am I? Like, what do I represent? What do I stand for? That type of self-work.
For those who don't know, the incident she was referring to is the one she previously discussed during her appearance on College Hill Celebrity Edition. In an episode with life coach Melanie Lawson, India opened up about the harassment she faced as a child when she was only 10 years old. She revealed that someone in her family repeatedly touched her inappropriately, and that when she tried to speak up, it felt like the incident was completely swept under the rug. She stated, "Everything takes a really hard toll on me. I'm my biggest critic," said Love. "I feel like I found my voice, but it's hard for me to use it because of trauma when I was younger, probably when I was 10 or so, around that age. I used to get touched by someone in my family when I was younger, and it felt like it was swept under the rug. It definitely scarred me mentally for a long time, probably still to this day." Here's the clip from the episode where she broke down just before a stressful college presentation. So yes, this information is truly sad and unfortunate. All her life, India has been to an extreme. That's not to say she bears no responsibility for actions. India has certainly acted in ways that used her image and presence as a tool, sometimes even as a weapon. But if you peel back the layers and really look at it, this was the path that was presented to her. She felt it was something she was good at and something that worked for her. As an underage girl, this was the path she was shown, and she took it. And over time, it became a defining part of her personality. We believe that experiences like this deserve much more attention. People are often more concerned with who she's dating than with what actually happened to her as a child. While this does not excuse some of the ways she's behaved, it does help explain why she is the way she is. Above all, it also raises important questions about parental responsibility. How much parents protect their children, especially when the threat comes from within the family. This leads us to another important topic about India, her relationship with her family. From the very beginning, her family and their dynamic have always been very public, and she's never shied away from showing that side of her life. She's always had a strong bond with her sisters, especially Crystal. They used to post together on Tumblr, taking pictures with their dad's old camera, never imagining that it would blow up the way it did. But the point we want to highlight here is that while her parents were physically present, they were never really there. India has always described having a good relationship with her father, saying she was a daddy's girl and that he handled things for her.
I'm telling your dad. I'm like, my dad was always on my side. Like, anytime my mom tried to, like, take my phone or, like, do anything, I'm like, you didn't, like, I'm calling my dad. And my dad was like, Candy, I'll handle it when I get home. He would always, my dad was just, you know, I was a daddy's girl, and I was like, you know.
Yet this raises a difficult question. Where was he when a 10-year-old girl in his own house was being harassed? The question also remains, why didn't India feel open enough to talk about her family about what happened? And if she did, why was nothing done? Regarding her relationship with her father, she has shared many affectionate moments with him. There are multiple clips of them together celebrating Father's Day or just spending time. And on the surface, it seems like a perfectly normal and loving relationship.
Chat.
Hey. Hey, where you came from?
And you know what? Are we live for real?
No, we live. Chat right there. Father's Day.
Happy
Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Go, Papa. Go. Hey, you got work? Hey. Oh, he got the chain on.
But while going through the things she has said about her family, we can't help but notice some troubling moments. For instance, she talked about how her father chased her because she was not listening to him.
So anyways, so she's like, I'm gonna tell your dad. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. My dad gets home. We're at the top of the stairs, okay, at my mom's house. And he's coming up the stairs, and I'm in front of him. So he's like, India, take that shit out right now. I said, no.
Oh, you bad.
He said, you got 3 seconds. 1, 2, I took off running down the stairs. Why the f did he chase me? When I tell you, I went out my mom's house, past Morgan's house, up the hill, and around the corner. I gave up because he was not stopping or slowing the f down. Mind you, I'm not a runner. I don't run. Like, I don't even like running for real. So the fact that and I kept looking back, and he just kept like, and I was just like, fine, and I just took it down.
Oh my God, India.
Like a badass little kid. Fine, I just took it out and threw it, and then walked back in shame.
Now, we don't know the full context of this situation, and it seems India told it in a lighthearted way. It's possible it wasn't serious at all, perhaps just a father trying to stop his daughter from doing something risky. But there are also moments that show India harbors some anger toward her father. In an interview she gave a while ago, she explained that she blames him for never sitting her down and talking to her about how she should conduct herself with men. She feels that, as a girl, this was something her father should have guided her on. Because he never addressed it, she says she blames him for the choices she made later in life, and for seeking validation and confidence from men she never really had a connection with.
No, my dad didn't give me the talks that he was supposed to give me, so I blame him a lot for me feeling like I lived this fast life, and just, I felt like I could make any and every decision on my own when, he's working a lot, so he never really had the time to sit us down, all 5 girls at that.
Yeah.
And tell us, about, how to carry ourselves as a young lady, how to not deal with certain guys. I needed that from him, especially, being a young woman, beautiful and all that. In this generation, it's hard to, maneuver yourself not having that in your head. So
being that you didn't get that from your dad, where'd you learn that from?
Myself.
You had to teach yourself.
I had to teach myself. And I feel like that's most effective, but I felt like it was maybe if somebody gave me a pre-warning of like, okay, this is what life consists of, you gotta be careful, I feel like I would have took a way more skeptical route, not being so free and open and bold and doing whatever.
So that's what you would have done differently?
I would have done differently. I would have been way more like, what's the word?
Conservative.
About my moves. Yeah, exactly.
But you would be a completely different person.
No. You think so?
Well, what she's saying here may stem from the fact that she's also stated her father wasn't very attentive. It also raises questions about the accountability she's taking for her own choices. Yes, she was a child when most of these scandals happened, and barely an adult in some cases, but she has grown up since. You can't entirely blame your parents for not sitting you down and having the talk, especially considering how likely it was that she would even have listened at the time. A lot of people online have pointed out that she shouldn't solely blame her father. On the other hand, many have also argued that if her father wasn't there to guide her, it could have been her mother. From that perspective, it seems unfair that she places all the blame on her father for both the guidance she lacked and some of the choices she made. At the end of the day, we can understand both sides of the story. But we also can't ignore the tension that seems to exist between India and her father. Some unspoken issues and doubts linger. Part of this may come from the fact that she didn't feel safe speaking up in her household after what happened to her as a child. However, India later spoke about this interview and clarified that while she was initially upset with her father for never discussing these important issues with her, they eventually sat down and talked. That conversation, she said, really helped her feel better.
You guys, I want to share something because it was just like really a moment. So I was at my parents' house for like decorating the tree or whatever the other day. And like me and my dad had a real like heart to heart, and it was like really cute because I've been like really bothered by something that he like didn't do for me, I guess, as a young girl or whatever. And that's like giving me the talk. Like my dad has never ever gave me the talk about men, about like, he could have said like, okay, India, guys, you know how when you're young and your parents are supposed to give you the talk at a certain age or whatever, and like warn you about life or like warn you about this stuff or whatever. Excuse me. My dad has never did that, and I felt deep down inside maybe that could have been the reason I lived such a fast life, or like was doing so much at a young age or whatever the case may be. I kind of felt that it was like part of the reason was because my dad never spoke and told me like, you know, stay away from guys, they're gonna waste your time, you know, they're gonna do, their intentions are terrible. He could have just said some things of those sort to like pre-warn me, because like I really listened to him when I was younger. So we had a heart to heart, and he told me he was sorry and he didn't really know why he didn't give me that talk. It was probably because I have a lot of other older sisters, and like he kind of gave up in a way when it came to me in some type of... You guys don't even care about my story, but I really like enjoyed him kind of like telling me that he was sorry, because like it meant a lot. And I do feel like every young girl, especially in today's age for sure, but everybody needs the talk from their parents about like, you know, just what's to come. And especially if you're a girl, because your dad definitely needs to warn you about these weak ass, bullshit ass niggas that don't mean shit, okay?
So yeah, her father basically said that he didn't have the talk with India because he had so many daughters. And then when it came to her, he kind of gave up. But even beyond that, there were other moments, both on and off the show, that hinted at some unusual family dynamics. For example, their eldest son, Pop, was estranged from the family. He and their father had fallen out a long time ago. And while the exact details aren't public, it raises red flags about the household environment and relationships. Another thing viewers remember from the show is how protective their father was of his daughters, especially Brooke, who was always very insecure about her weight. He didn't approve of her partners and often had long discussions with her about her relationships. Even the sisters talked about these moments openly, but in contrast, India often came across as much colder and more distant. She seemed meaner in her interactions, less willing to show vulnerability and more guarded, even in moments where her sisters were openly emotional. These glimpses into the family dynamic suggest that India's behavior was influenced not just by her personal experiences, but also by the way attention, affection, and protection were distributed within the household. Other than that, the relationship between the parents was also strained. There were moments during the show when it was clear they were having issues, even considering separation. At one particularly difficult period, their mother sat the girls down to talk to them about the situation. She explained that she felt their father didn't rely on her for anything, and even though he did a lot for the family, he was never truly present. These glimpses revealed a household where parental attention and support were uneven, and it likely contributed to some of the tensions and behaviors seen in India and her siblings. There have been other moments on the show where India herself spoke about how her father was never really affectionate. She suggested that this lack of attention and warmth may have been why she later sought affection elsewhere, in men who are often insincere. This pattern of seeking validation from others seems closely tied to the emotional gaps she experienced growing up. So yes, we believe there was a significant lack of affection in her family, and that may have pushed her to live the life she did. The worst part is that she was judged harshly for many of her choices, how she presented herself, who she dated, and the paths she took at such a young age. Things might have been very different if she had received proper guidance and support along the way. But now that she's an adult, it's natural for people to expect a better, more mature version of her teenage self. She has the looks and the natural charm that could have easily positioned her as the next big star if she chose to make the right decisions. But India's recent resurgence has shown us that she hasn't learned much from everything that's happened. In fact, her public reputation has arguably gotten even worse from the start of her streaming era. After years of slowly fading into the background and being remembered mostly for her old controversies, India has suddenly thrown herself back into the clout-chasing game in an extremely loud and chaotic way. Starting around mid-2025, her name began popping up constantly alongside major streamers like DDG and Duke Dennis. And once that happened, the internet immediately took notice, because India Love was officially back in the spotlight for better or worse. There are now countless clips, edits, live stream snippets, and reaction videos of her being openly flirty with DDG, and him very clearly reciprocating that energy. She's also been seen acting extra affectionate and comfortable around Duke Dennis, often in a way that viewers described as trying too hard or way too performative.
If you jump in there, I'll jump in there. If you jump in there, I'll jump in there.
Wait, do you have an option?
You a bitch.
See, you make me nervous when I'm this close. You got more aura than me. That's fucked up.
This sudden affiliation with some of the streaming world's biggest names immediately pulled her back into the spotlight and finally gave everyone a close, unfiltered glimpse into the adult, fully grown India Love, a version of her that many people had never truly seen outside of curated photos and PR-approved appearances. Since her reality show days, this is honestly the first time people are seeing India completely raw, unscripted, and unfiltered on a consistent basis. And while we strongly believe that some of the hate she still receives online because of her bold persona is unnecessary and sometimes exaggerated, we also can't deny that India's own behavior plays a significant part in shaping her current public image. In many moments during her streams, she contributes to her own downfall with the way she speaks, reacts, and carries herself on camera. Some of the instances from her recent streams, for example, are just too pick-me, unnecessarily messy, and borderline mean to be excused as simple personality quirks. One widely shared clip shows her trying to scout or flirt with another potential date, while she was literally already on a date with someone else, and she did it with full confidence, almost bragging like she could pull any man she wanted at any moment.
Excuse me, you have really beautiful features. I love your eyebrows. Yes, you're so cute. I just wanted to say that. Have a blessed day. You see, like, leave them wondering. Leave them wondering. Now, if I really wanted to, I would have been like, you got an Instagram?
This clip made many people feel like she hadn't matured at all and was still very much stuck in that old attention-seeking era that damaged her reputation years ago. There's another moment from her live stream where she casually blurted out to her entire live audience that her sister Crystal was pregnant. She said it in such a careless, offhanded way that viewers instantly criticized her for being insensitive and for putting private family information out into the world for no reason other than shock value and reacts.
You guys, she's fishing for this. You guys are giving her exactly what she's fishing for. What am I fishing for? I'm eating lunch with you. You're eating for two, remember? I keep a couple on my roster. Which one?
When the clip went viral and people bashed her for her rude and bitchy attitude, India went on another live to address it. She claimed she was sorry, clarified that her sister was not actually pregnant, and explained that it was a joke she took way too far. She even added that because of this stunt, her sister Crystal wasn't speaking to her anymore.
There's now upset at me and not talking to me, and that really, really hurts my heart and like bothers my spirit that like we're not talking right now, and I don't want to cry, but she's mad at me over that pregnancy shit, so I have to, as loud as I was joking about it, apologize just as loud and tell the world that my sister is not pregnant and I really miss her and I hope she's not mad at me anymore, because these have been definitely a rough couple of days with her not replying and talking to me, and she's my best friend. I love her and I hate that I hurt her feelings or made her feel away. I play around a lot, like that's just my character in life. Not even really, because I'm not really a jokester, but like when I feel comfortable and when I have a certain relationship, like I be.
While these moments already shed plenty of light on India's true personality, they're not even the biggest controversies she's been involved in over the past few months since entering the streaming world. A lot has gone down, and most of it was amplified because it happened live in real time, in front of tens of thousands of people who clipped and spread every second of it. We will definitely unpack everything that's happened since India started streaming. But first, we need to discuss how she even ended up in the streaming world to begin with. Well, it all started in May 2025 when India joined Kai Cenat's Streamer University event. If you're not aware of what it was, the event was a multi-day bootcamp-style streaming experience hosted by one of the biggest IRL streamers on the internet, Kai Cenat himself. Tons of major IRL creators and streamers participated, including India Love. This was her first time stepping into the streaming scene, and surprisingly, she entered not just as a participant, but as a professor. Kai invited her to teach a class of young streamers about love, relationships, and confidence, a topic she's always been associated with, for better or worse.
Hey, hello? 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 That's what I'm talking. It's not working! It's not working!
Hold on, hello. Mic check. Can you turn me up a little bit? Mic check, hello?
Hello, hey, SU students and staff. Hey, y'all. I'm Professor Love. My class is going to be on one of the most important topics of everyone's life, which is love and relationships. And we're going to be deep diving beneath the surface and regular, but that's me, so hope I see you guys.
Thank you so much, India. Round of applause for India, y'all.
From this event alone, India's visibility online skyrocketed overnight. Many people who had literally forgotten she existed suddenly rediscovered her and began asking once again, who is India Love? The Streamer University experience opened a whole new chapter for her and reintroduced her to an entirely new genre of content creation, one that thrives on drama, personality, and constant engagement. All things India has always been drawn to. After Streamer University, India made her own Twitch account and began streaming regularly with her friends, family, and anyone else who happened to be around her day-to-day life. One thing about her streaming content that instantly stood out to viewers was her noticeable involvement with DDG and Duke Dennis. During the Streamer University event itself, she was seen hanging around with these two individuals a lot more than anyone expected, and there was definitely a flirtatious vibe, especially with DDG. People picked up on their chemistry immediately. And for many, this was the first sign that India's streaming era would be a lot messier and more chaotic than anticipated. There were countless small moments from the Streamer University event where DDG and India acted suspiciously flirty. Fans clipped everything and shared them all across social media. From that point onward, rumors of them dating started circulating heavily online. Even though they both clarified multiple times that they were not together, the internet had already made up its mind. For many viewers, their chemistry felt way too natural to be just friends, and India's new online persona only intensified the speculation. One of the most notable incidents in the DDG and India love saga was the AMP pool party. We aren't completely sure about the exact timeline, but this pool party took place shortly after the Streamer University event. All the major IRL streamers, including Duke Dennis and DDG, were present, and India, being India, acted in her usual bold and unapologetic fashion. In several clips from the party, she can be seen dancing on DDG in a very provocative way, getting extremely close and clearly enjoying the attention. DDG, on the other hand, didn't seem bothered at all. In fact, he looked like he was thoroughly enjoying the vibe, even reposting some of these viral clips on his Snapchat for his followers to see. So you see, this is the kind of behavior that actually makes fans upset with India. People genuinely believe she had huge potential when she kickstarted her internet career on Tumblr. Back then, she had a soft, mysterious aesthetic vibe that people admired, but somewhere along the way, she seemed to lean heavily into this chaotic, overly flirtatious persona, almost as if she felt pressured to rely on male validation and public attention to remain relevant. And throughout this story, you'll notice many other instances where she acted inappropriately in public, or pushed boundaries so far that she ended up losing a lot of respect from portions of her audience. There were numerous other moments from this particular pool party that went viral, further fueling the narrative that India and DDG had something going on.
We don't want no flavor. 4 more. Hold on. Four more on Moo. Excuse me? 4 more on Moo. Moo, do you want 4 more? 4 more on Moo. Oh, thank you. You want more Moo?
No, this for you.
Wait, where the flavor? Yes. Where the fuck the flavor? She ain't got no more flavor? Indian. Yes, of course we do. We got on Poochie, of course I know. Yes. We need red and red.
At this point, viewers couldn't help but notice how strong their vibe was. After Streamer University ended, the duo continued hanging out frequently and appeared in each other's content consistently. They flirted openly on live streams, complimented each other dramatically, and even invited each other to proms and date night events while thousands of people watched. Now, if you're not familiar with DDG's past, he has his own long list of controversies. He's widely known for being a woman magnet of sorts, with many people online accusing him of using women for content, clout, and relevance. But that's not even the biggest issue. DDG is currently in a custody battle with his ex-wife, Halle Bailey. Their breakup was extremely public, and she accused him of several serious things, leading to massive online backlash. So while this situation was unfolding, India continued being seen with him, supporting him indirectly during the allegations, and involving herself in the drama simply by association.
The fuck? Like, when you got genuine people in your corner and a genuine person like Moo, who genuinely is like a great guy, who doesn't have no expectations other than wanting to see another person win and do good and be respectful, and every great attribute and characteristic in a person, he shows that in every way to me. So I don't give a rat's ass who, what, when, where, why, and how. Like, I'm very much team Moo. I'm very much team, like, you know, you gotta, like, do for those and pour into those who pour into you. And you gotta, like, really pay attention to people's character these days. Like, behind the scenes type of character, when nobody's watching type of character. And I feel like he gives and how.
This sparked a lot of debate online. Even people who genuinely liked India were concerned and commented that she was inserting herself into yet another scandal by aligning with someone as controversial as DDG. Many felt that her involvement wasn't helping her already fragile public image. If anything, it was making it worse. Many people were also of the view that she had no right to comment on DDG's sincerity, since she only knew him for a short while. But despite everyone's concerns, India continued associating with him and pushed out a significant amount of content featuring him. In multiple interviews she gave afterwards, she openly talked about DDG and praised him for his work ethic, his consistency, and the way he approaches content creation.
I'm gonna say that I am so blessed. Like, I think I'm kind of obsessed with Moo. I'm obsessed with him. I don't care. I'm so blessed to have a man in my life who is so nice and is so genuine and is so kind-spirited and is so selfless and is so kind-hearted and just, he's just like, you could just melt in the character of him, let alone what he looks like. Of course, he's gorgeous to me. But aside from the outside appearance, he's just such a great guy. Like, what the like, it's not a lot of those. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you can call it glazing, you could call it this, that, and the third. I myself have not experienced.
At this point, though, they still had not confirmed any relationship whatsoever. Yes, they appeared in a lot of streams together, joked around constantly, and clearly enjoyed each other's presence, but they never once said they were dating. If anything, they repeatedly emphasized over and over again that they were just friends. But despite their continuous denial on their attempts to shut down the rumors, the fans, especially the ones from DDG's side, started shipping them together extremely hard. The audience practically ignored every clarification from both of them and began treating India and DDG as if they were some sort of unofficial power couple created by the internet. And honestly, we've seen this exact pattern happen many times with DDG. This guy's been linked with a long list of girls in the past simply because of vibes or chemistry caught on camera. Wendy Ortiz is a perfect example. There was absolutely nothing going on between Wendy and DDG either, yet his fandom shipped them aggressively and somehow managed to twist the entire situation into making Wendy look like the villain. And that's precisely what happened here as well. India, just like Wendy, unintentionally became the bad guy in a scenario where nothing was confirmed, and most of the narrative was driven by fan fantasies rather than actual facts. A few specific instances played a major role in making DDG's fandom turn against India Love and label her as a pass-around, a clout chaser, and a pick-me. The biggest one was the Michael Phelps situation, which spiraled far further than anyone expected. This one incident completely shifted the tone of the conversation around her. So around November of this year, India appeared at a poker tournament in Las Vegas, alongside various other notable celebrities. It was a glamorous event with cameras flashing, influencers attending, celebrities casually hanging, and among them was the Olympic icon Michael Phelps. What was supposed to be a chill, entertaining night quickly turned into a messy situation that put both India and Michael under heavy public scrutiny.
You feel me? Sometimes you just gotta take that risk.
There you go. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
India Love cannot lose this hand.
Oh, we'll head to the test.
Do I even have to?
There it is.
All right at the main table.
Doesn't matter what the river is. India Love is going to double up.
Cases? I mean, if you every hand is while you're looking at your hand. Holy smokes.
I got that?
Yeah, you got it.
You got that.
Yes! Good game, good game. Thank you. Come on, pot that. Pot that.
It's a good hand.
Fuck.
And blind versus blind. We both have an 8 blind versus blind. Yeah, right. Are you shitting me?
A heart draw arrives for India Love.
And the chop outs as well, more for Phelps.
This is a crazy sequence.
Emily of Hearts! The double KO scored by India Love!
You can't not say that.
Sucking the testosterone out of the table, India Love.
It's pandemonium in here, Schmo.
What happened was this. In the middle of the game, India made an off-camera poker move. Michael, who had always been out of the game, decided to return to the table and embraced India in a way that was undeniably inappropriate. The embrace lingered long enough to make viewers uncomfortable, and India embraced him back to some degree and exchanged a few words. The whole interaction was painfully awkward. Everyone at the table visibly tensed up, and even viewers watching through their screens could sense the uncomfortable energy.
You see me? I'm doing my damn thing. Look, 25. 25. They ain't fucking with me. Yeah, I know.
My goodness,
Love
he loves
He
it.
ran 5K up to 40 dimes.
Oh my
Just in there killing it.
Loves the game.
What's the bet?
This move by Michael was extremely questionable, especially given the fact that he's married and a father of 4 children. The internet wasted no time. The clip went viral within minutes, and people heavily criticized Michael. Comments like, "Doesn't he have a wife?" and "Is he not married anymore?" flooded social media, with many calling his behavior outright disrespectful and embarrassing for his family. But India didn't escape the backlash either. People also turned against her not just because of the moment itself, but because it came right after she had been preaching about finding God, turning to Christianity, and wanting to change her lifestyle. In a live stream just weeks earlier, she spoke about becoming more religious, doing the right things, and preparing herself to eventually marry, settle down, and become a mother.
But I really, really desire like my own family and to be a wife and to have a home and to be like the best mom and the best family member to my entire family. And once you desire something, it's on you to make that shift in your behavior and in your circumstances and in your self-discipline. So that's what I've really been working on these last couple months. I've really been self-disciplined in a lot of different areas. I've been fasting in certain areas in my life. I have been really getting closer to God and showing God and talking to Him, but also showing Him in my actions that I'm serious about, trying to be more and do different. And I've been seeing results in like my self-discipline.
Her sudden spiritual talk rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Many believed she was saying these things for attention rather than genuine self-growth, and that she had no real intention of making any meaningful lifestyle changes. And if we're being completely honest, if she truly wants to turn to God, become a wife, and build a family, these are not the kinds of situations she should be placing herself in. Dancing on guys, flirting with dudes, or even being bold on stream is one thing. People might overlook that, but getting involved in situations with married men, jokingly telling them she likes them, or engaging in behavior that crosses boundaries is simply not the type of thing she should be doing if she genuinely wants to settle down and be taken seriously. What added even more fuel to the fire was India's overall inappropriate behavior throughout the poker game. After winning, she began walking suggestively, sticking her tongue out, and acting in a way that many viewers found attention-seeking rather than fun. A photo also went viral of her holding a bottle of wine while kneeling down beside the crotch of an individual, which only intensified the backlash. People used this as proof that she wasn't serious about changing, and that she was still intentionally placing herself in situations that encourage criticism and public judgment. We don't know what this picture truly means, but it definitely does not look good at all, especially for someone who's publicly talking about reaching God, turning her life around, and embracing a more mature, grounded version of herself. The image completely contradicted everything she'd been preaching, and for a lot of people it felt like yet another example of India saying one thing and doing the complete opposite. Amidst all this chaos, a voice note and personal message from India's Discord server also leaked online. In the message, India thanked her Discord community for rallying behind her when people started turning against her after the Michael Phelps situation. In the voice note, besides expressing gratitude for the support, she tried to excuse her behavior at the poker tournament by explaining that she had been drinking way too much at the table. According to her, after a certain point, she didn't even know what she was doing anymore. She claimed she blacked out after the show and didn't remember taking pictures with anyone. In the same recording, she promised she wouldn't drink in public settings again, and said she was genuinely trying to learn and be better.
Wisdom, fill myself up with God, get back on my path, repent, put some holy oil on myself and try again. I failed. I never said I was a role model or anything. I'm just trying. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do right. I'm trying. And with that comes, trial and error. And I'm finally okay with my mistakes and like everything being at the forefront. I got too comfortable and kept drinking at the table. As soon as I got up from that poker table, y'all, I was spinning. And as soon as I got up and was done, everybody wanted to take pictures, do interviews. I don't remember nothing. I blacked out. I was a functioning blackout. But again, that's my fault. It's nobody's fault but mine. I was very hard on myself, but I also turned it into a lesson and let it fuel me. And now I'm putting myself on punishment. I'm gonna get real strict. I'm not drinking no tequila. If I have to drink at all, it'll be wine.
Now, many people felt she was finally taking accountability, and they praised her for at least acknowledging her behavior. Others, however, felt that while accountability is great, she now actually needs to follow through and be better. After everything she's been part of over the years, people weren't willing to let her slide so easily. Sure, she was very young during the whole game controversy, and immaturity played a big role back then. But now she's much older, nearing 30, And at this stage, she should absolutely be acting more responsibly, especially knowing she's still in the public eye almost all the time. She simply can't act that way and then pin everything on alcohol as if that magically excuses her choices. Following the leak of her voice note, another series of clips from the poker tournament began circulating. In one of them, India was heard calling Michael Ponytail, which many viewers found incredibly disrespectful and downright diabolical. This only made the situation worse for her, adding fuel to an already growing fire. After these clips went viral, India finally went live to address the situation. During the stream, she expressed her disappointment that someone from her Discord community had leaked her private audio. She said she was genuinely heartbroken because she truly believed her Discord server was a tight, supportive community that would protect her rather than expose her.
So it really hurt my feelings kind of when they exposed my voice note. But when I sent that voice note in my Discord, I was still drunk from the night before, and I was in panic mode of trying to defend myself, when that is not, that's not what's necessary. We'll speak to God and God only, and for me to make sure God understands and knows how I feel. And
around this time, a separate controversy flared up when a woman came onto TikTok accusing India of sleeping with her ex-husband. This woman uploaded a 2-part video where she went into extreme detail about how India allegedly had an affair with her ex, despite knowing he was married and even meeting the wife in person. According to her, her ex-husband was a homie to rapper YG, and because of that connection, they eventually crossed paths with India. From the very start, she claimed she got a strange, uneasy feeling about India inserting herself into the relationship dynamic. According to this woman's story, she had met India at a restaurant along with her ex-husband, and that moment became the beginning of a very messy situation. Over time, India allegedly became part of their social circle. But soon after, the woman began noticing disturbing changes in her husband's behavior. He was coming home late, buying expensive items she knew he couldn't afford, and acting strangely distant. These habits pushed her to dig deeper, and eventually she logged into his iCloud. That's when she discovered what she described as flirty messages between her husband and India, along with invitations from India for private meetups. This woman went as far as claiming that India slept with her ex-husband and ultimately played a role in breaking apart their marriage. She insisted the affair was real, that India knew he was married, and that India still chose to get involved anyway.
I hate when I see people say positive things about her because I know that she's not a good person. And then when I see everyone talking about her being a mean girl, like, I want to share what my experience has been with her, because she very much is a disgusting person and she has a disgusting character. And I don't blame her fully. Like, I know that, you know, my ex-husband is the one who I shared vows with, and he's the one who ultimately betrayed me. But the fact that she met me as his wife, followed me on Instagram, and then liked stories that I posted of me and him, like waking up in bed together, me and him cooking breakfast together, me and him working out together, like, she would heart all those stories. She would even DM me and be like, y'all are so cute, and at that same time she was sleeping with him. Like, that's disgusting. Like, if you were my child and you were moving around like that, I would be so disappointed in you. And the fact that she's constantly bringing God into all things that she talks about is like, girl, God doesn't like ugly. Like, be who you say you are. If you're gonna be that girl, then be that girl fully. But when you're out here sleeping with a married man, knowingly, you're not a good person. You're disgusting. You're not a role model. You are not a role model. And maybe she doesn't want to be a role model, and that's cool. She doesn't want to be a role model, but own your bullshit. Own it. Own it and just be who you are. But don't be fake. Don't sit up here and act like you're a victim. Don't talk about how you're a good woman, because you're really not. Your character is disgusting. Like, if I could just say one thing about her, I would say that her character is disgusting. So I will start by kind of going into it a little bit. So I married a up-and-coming LA rapper when he was already no longer up-and-coming. So he had a moment where he could potentially be super poppin'. I went to high school with YG. He was actually my freshman algebra class. And my ex was like his big homie. They both did a lot of the music, like around the Teach Me How to Dougie times, okay? Like 2010, 2012, 2015, like there was a huge movement in LA where like the people were pushing, I don't know if anybody knows about that, like pushes. So they were pushing the city rappers to be poppin', to be famous maybe. My ex is dumb. He didn't like catch the wave, and YG did, right? So my ex kind of fell behind. Like he didn't get popping, like he didn't get signed, because he was dumb, like he was too busy breaking the law, you know. He was out here stealing and doing things that just got him in trouble, so he couldn't really do anything with that, right?
Now, we cannot confirm whether any of her claims are true, even though her nearly 20-minute video was filled with extremely specific details, timelines, and emotional storytelling. She provided no actual receipts, no screenshots, no proof, nothing verifiable. Because of this, we strongly advise taking her story with a grain of salt. Some people online, however, did not take her video lightly. They immediately jumped on the opportunity to criticize India yet again. And because this happened during the same period when India was publicly talking about God, religion, and growth, many viewers felt she was being massively hypocritical. For these people, the TikTok accusations, combined with the Michael Phelps situation that unfolded just weeks earlier, further solidified India's image as a home wrecker, a pick-me, and someone who constantly contradicts her own words with her actions. In the weeks that followed the Michael Phelps controversy, an expected shift happened online. People began sympathizing with DDG because of his close association with India Love. Even though the two had repeatedly insisted they were not dating, people still assumed there was something more going on, and that India was playing him or embarrassing him indirectly through her behavior. There were several tweets floating around using India's pictures from the poker night to take subtle digs at her, especially because she had apparently called DDG her life partner during one of their streams. Snippets also circulated of her walking into a club with captions like, "She's been sent to humble DDG," which added to the ongoing narrative that her actions were somehow hurting him. Then things escalated when a clip resurfaced from DDG's own livestream, where he reacted to India's Amp Pool Party moment, specifically the clip of her dancing provocatively on Duke Dennis in the same exact style she had danced on DDG earlier. In that livestream, DDG looked visibly irritated and genuinely upset, which fueled even more speculation that India was causing drama in his personal life. By this point, the internet was completely split into two sides. One group believed DDG was a victim in all of this, or strung along by India Love's attention-seeking behavior. The other side pointed out the obvious, that they were not officially together and had said so dozens of times. People also reminded everyone that DDG himself has a new girl on his stream almost every day, yet no one ever calls him a pass-around. They argued that India was being judged unfairly and far more harshly simply because she's a woman, while DDG's behavior was excused as entertainment or content creation. At this point, people also completely ignored the fact that DDG and India were not together at all. DDG even went on livestream multiple times and straight up called his own fans toxic and parasocial, saying they were reading too deeply into every little thing he did. He expressed how uncomfortable he felt seeing his community turn into something he personally disliked and overly invested in his personal life. He urged his fans to stop projecting relationships onto him and India when they were genuinely just friends.
DDG world is definitely becoming very toxic. I don't hold any other communities accountable for anything because I'm not an admin in those. But DDG world has become very, very toxic. I'm not gonna nuke it because it took too long for me to build that. I think we are top 3 unpeaked. Top 3 most unpeaked might be DDG world. We might be worse. We might have turned into the community that we thought we didn't like. I get the parasocial things. I get what y'all be doing. I get how y'all be like getting attached. Oh, y'all look cute together, this and that, blah, blah. But like when you take it to the extent of like trying to police somebody, that's when y'all make this weird. Like, it's cool to be like parasocial. Oh, y'all look good together. Blah 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 blah. Leave it at that, bro. Keep it like that. Stop trying to police folks. Like, I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how many times like niggas gotta tell y'all, bro. Y'all, it's like I tell you Santa Claus ain't real, and you say Santa Claus real every time. No, I believe Santa Claus. I believe Santa Claus is real. I'm telling you, nigga, I wrapped your presents. You know what I mean? How you gonna tell me a Santa Claus real? I wrapped them presents. No, Santa Claus real. Y'all get the analogy. I'm talking about the folks that be mean, weird. It's weird, bro. Stop being mean and stop thinking y'all doing something in favor of me. Y'all not. Okay? It's just bullying. It's cyberbullying. Stop. That is not y'all place as a community, bro. If y'all gonna be my community, just worry about me, bro. Like, that's all I gotta say, man. He's talking all that about Woshin, boy. We worse.
India also clarified repeatedly around this time that they were not together. She emphasized that people were inventing narratives because it made the drama more entertaining. But even with both sides denying everything, the internet refused to let go. And yes, we fully acknowledge that the internet, in the IRL streaming world, a name has recently resurfaced and sparked a surprising amount of buzz online. We're talking about Love and her unexpected appearances in streams with Kai Cenat and DDG. While one half of the internet remembers her unavoidable legacy, the other half is just confused. Who is she? Why is she acting like she's famous? And why does the streaming community suddenly care? Well, if you like men have no idea who India Love truly is, this video is going to unpack everything about her, from her early rise to her quiet downfall, and why her name is trending again today. India Love is not your regular influencer. She became internet famous back in 2011, long before internet famous was even treated like a real career. She was the walking of the early Instagram era. Her face was everywhere on Tumblr, Facebook, and Twitter, long before algorithms could be manipulated or engagement could be
Tears going on, maybe. I don't know how passionate y'all are about this whole show and what we got going on, but you know, people got to go home. They got to go home.
All of
you
them
know?
are going home. I'm staying right here with that.
You're the first.
Good job.
Girl, bye.
Come back everybody
Okay.
can go home.
You're the first to go home. You're going today. Girl,
Listen.
going home today.
engineered. This was the era when going viral was accidental, organic, and genuinely chaotic. And yet she managed to dominate the digital space effortlessly. She didn't need interviews. She didn't need a PR team. She didn't need podcasts, collabs, or brand partnerships. She just posted selfies and short videos with her signature baddie aesthetic, and the internet watched, and watched, and watched. But fame that quick rarely comes without chaos. As time went on, her online presence began to be defined not just by her aesthetic, but by the scandals, the messy relationships, and the infamous online leaks that kept her name circulating for years. What started as harmless, quirky selfies slowly transformed into a brand centered on who she was dating, who she was arguing with, and what kind of men she attracted. India Love wasn't just an influencer. She was an early prototype of the internet it girl, complete with the drama that came with the title. Yet despite her early dominance and her family's powerful network, her career started slipping into quiet obscurity by the late 2010s. She popped up occasionally in brand deals, but they barely trended outside of her core fan base. For someone who once broke the internet at 15, her follower count and engagement today feels surprisingly modest, making people wonder what happened. How did someone this influential fade away? And what exactly caused her downfall? But here's the twist. She's suddenly...
I just really pray that we reach that motherfucking sub goal to get me on that motherfucker so I can line these lovely ladies up, walk up and down, and tell them, skirt's kind of not it. You look, smile, don't smile. Okay, now take that skirt off. Now take the skirt.
She's back because the streaming world pulled her name straight into new drama, thanks to DDG, his bizarre relationship-centered storylines, and the internet's favorite hobby, digging up old flames and forgotten icons. Suddenly, people were reanalyzing her relationships, her past, her influence, and her role in shaping early Instagram culture. India Love's name is being tossed around YouTube streams, reaction channels, or threads like it's 2016 all over again. Except now, the nostalgia comes with confusion and the question, wait, where has she been? And that's what this documentary is here to explore. How India...
Whoever said that, it wasn't a script, chat.
Oh, cuss at them. Okay. What's up? Good.
Hi, girls. Y'all save me some food? You want to try? Maybe. I got a fork for you. I like you, so I'm going to try yours. Huh? To what?
Please.
You got to try that.
You know. Well, I'm so excited to be here, y'all. Y'all all look good. I've been doing my homework. Yeah, all y'all. I can't wait. I have to individually talk to you guys. I'm very excited about it. We also have a challenge. I have a couple things in store for you. I'm very excited to be here. I want to thank y'all for treating my moose so well these last couple of days.
Most iconic influencers of the 2010s, what led to her gradual downfall, and why she's being discussed again today. Because her story isn't just about beauty and fame. It's about the rise of a digital era and the cost of being an early internet it girl. So let's start from the beginning, shall we? However, before we go ahead with this video, here are some facts about India and her family. India of Westbrooks is currently 28 years old. She comes from a big family and spent most of her childhood in Compton, California. During her early teen years, her father, Warren Westbrooks, who owned a company called Royal Blunts, saw massive growth in his business. This success eventually made him one of the most well-known and wealthiest businessmen in their area. Around that same period, India and her sisters began posting pictures on Tumblr, which was the platform of the moment. India is the sixth child of the Westbrooks family. She has 4 sisters, Crystal, Morgan, Brooke, and Bree, and 2 brothers, Blake and Warren G. Today, all the...
Oh, damn.
What's up, loser?
are public figures in some way. Crystal is a TV personality, Morgan is a musician, and Bree is a plus-size model. The entire family has always had an impressive network connected to both the music and television industries, which has only expanded as their visibility grew. When India joined Tumblr in 2011 and
the girls in the streaming space, we need more of you guys, okay? The guys, they overtook it. It's dominated. The guys it's kind of oversaturated in a sense of you got Kai, you got Speed, you got DDG, you got so many heavy hitters. My girls, the stream needs you, Twitch needs you. Come on, pull up. We need y'all. I'm finna do an all-girls content house. So if you're a girl and you wanna holla at me and do some shit, let's collab.
Posting raw selfies and photos, she wasn't the only one experiencing with social media. She and her sister Crystal consistently uploaded pictures, but for reasons even they couldn't fully explain, India gained far more. By 2012, she caught the attention of several bloggers and began racking followers across different platforms at a shocking pace. People started labeling her the it girl of that era. And keep in mind, before filters were commonplace, and before anyone could artificially enhance a photo with one tap, India's pictures were praised for their natural lighting, perfect angles, and effortlessly stylish outfits. She looked polished without looking edited, which made her stand out even more. While talking about how their Tumblr branding began, Crystal explained, "We started about 4 years ago when India and I had the idea to post pictures of ourselves on Tumblr. My dad has this really expensive camera.
My little ooh-wop, that's just, you know, that belongs to me.
The first time I heard it was kind of about you in a lot of ways, and now it's a phrase that everybody's saying.
Yeah, I think it's flattering.
You're the original ball.
I am the original ball, I guess you could say, but I'm really the coach. I'm not nobody's ball. Like, I'm definitely the coach. I'll put it, but I am not anybody's ball, just to clear it up.
Let us use it, and we would just go out and take still pictures, upload them to Tumblr, and people were like, we love the quality of the pictures, and we love the clothes they're wearing. And just like...
What can you tell me about, like, my ball and, like, where it came from?
So I definitely originated from DDG. He was, you know, I was caught in the phrase as it was going around, so I really didn't know the prime definition until
I was supposedly somebody's wall. Then I'm like, wait, what does that mean? But that's just a playful term that this generation really loves, thanks to DDG. But if I could give it a definition, it would just be like, that's mine. That's my girl.
It gained a level of visibility on Tumblr that very few teens at the time could dream of. According to multiple sources, by 2014, there wasn't a single platform where you could scroll without seeing one of India's photos floating through your feed. Her content had a recognizable formula: high-quality images, casual but posed aesthetics, early baddie energy, and that Tumblr-era softness that made everything feel dreamy and curated. Users loved it, reblogged her photos, reposted her selfies, and with her page daily. Her blog quickly became one of the most followed and shared in that part of the internet. Hundreds of people were reblogging her images every day, and thousands more quietly watched from the sidelines as India Love became one of the most influential digital faces of the early 2010s. People at this point were also obsessed with copying her fashion style, tracking what tattoos she got, and taking inspiration from her uncanny sense of aesthetics. There were countless comparison photos of fans recreating her entire outfits and reposting the side-by-side edits on Tumblr. There were even threads where people discussed her hair length and tried to guess how she maintained it. That's how intense her early 2010s was. Her rise on Tumblr was so big that the media eventually took notice.
Look, when India heard I was coming on the show, she did hit me up. And she said something along the lines of, make sure you put these in check and let them know what's going on. Pretty much she was saying, man, don't play with me and don't have these holes on my teeth. Pretty much what she said. They supposed to be competing to get the love of Daryl.
Accumulated millions of followers. It didn't just attract casual attention, it pulled in bloggers, trend reporters, and eventually entertainers.
So is that your man?
I mean, I just still gotta get to know him.
No, is that your man? Just a yes or no question.
Of course not! You fucked me up with that dance last night. Oh, I did? God damn, you fucked me up with that dance. I did. Bitch, I wanted to kill myself. For real? On GTA.
You know, this is all pointless. And, you know, I just be listening to people. People tell me everything. Like, I know girls sucked dick 3 weeks ago. I had no business doing that shit.
Who did what?
To recognize that something unusual was happening with the Westbrook sisters. As Tumblr's influence started to fade, India smoothly transitioned to Instagram, where her popularity took on a completely new trajectory. Shift put her in front of an even larger audience, and soon it wasn't just social media users paying attention. Numerous modeling agencies began noticing her look, her aesthetic, and her online impact. Before 2015 even began, she had already partnered with multiple brands and booked various modeling gigs, along with landing a whole family.
Find your own and leave mine alone. Don't mess with my mood. I'ma be the one to bring it to you. Here's a little advice for you. Find your own mood. Oh, what the hell?
On BET. In the years that followed, write-ups and retrospectives highlighted her as one of the OG Instagram influencers, essentially a pioneer of the category before influencing became an industry. And honestly, it wouldn't be wrong to say that India's massive visibility was what pulled her entire family into the spotlight. Through her rise, people discovered her sisters, followed their pages, and collectively pushed the entire Westbrooks family into the world of online fame. All the things we've told you so far paint the bright side of India's early fame. But everything behind the scenes wasn't smooth sailing. In fact, one of the biggest reasons people believe India never managed to build the massive Instagram following she should have had was the non-stop catfishing. Ever since her Tumblr rise, people had been obsessing over her photos, but not always in the right ways. There were countless impersonation pages made in...
We also have a challenge. I have a couple things in store for you. I'm very excited to be here. I want to thank y'all for treating my moose so well these last couple of days. I know we're all very proud of him, me especially, but you guys as well. And yeah, can't wait to speak and spend time with you guys.
Designed to attract viewers, steal her identity, and confuse her actual audience. Her pictures were reposted everywhere. Beauty pages, anonymous Tumblr accounts, fan pages that weren't really fans at all. And this was all happening during the era when social media had no verification system. There were no blue ticks, no official markers, nothing to help users distinguish a real account from a fake one. Anybody could steal someone's pictures, pretend to be them, and rack up hundreds of thousands of followers. So there was literally nothing India could do to secure her identity or stop her pictures from being used by catfish accounts. The only tool she had was her own voice. Every once in a while, she would post a video on Tumblr or YouTube explaining which accounts were actually hers and which ones were impersonators. But even then, the problem grew faster than she could address it. The confusion became so bad that loyal longtime watchers found themselves lost. People would comment under various asking whether they were following the real India Love or yet another catfish. Entire threads were dead.
Shit, you don't go to India.
Yeah, I would love to address an elephant in the room that's bothering me.
Show the tattoo. Show the tattoo.
Shay, please. So I talked to Mom, and she felt a way towards I want to know from your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the floor first. You already know what I'm talking about, right? Downstairs at the challenge.
Yeah.
She said she was speaking, and you specifically just started turning your back as she was talking.
Yeah, I know. I already spoke to her about
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I told her,
Did you apologize?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I didn't mean that intentionally. I would never be rude to Mama DDG.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were.
Yeah, I know
at the
she
moment.
I know she felt that way.
Yeah.
But I was literally nervous of them judging. I didn't even want to look.
No, I feel you though. I feel you. Sometimes I don't want to look too.
Figuring out which page belonged to her, and the overwhelming number of copycat profiles made it almost impossible to tell. This chaos had a real impact on her public presence. Her following didn't necessarily shrink, but she should have had was fragmented. Instead of directing new fans to her actual accounts, thousands of people were consuming her photos and videos through these catfish pages. Her content was spreading everywhere, reaching huge audiences, but those viewers weren't landing on her official pages. They were boosting the impersonator. And this is widely believed to be one of the biggest reasons why, even today, India doesn't have the massive social media following you'd expect from someone who is considered one of the original Instagram influencers. Her official Instagram sits at just over 6 million followers, which is noticeably lower than many newer influencers who didn't even exist online when she dominated Tumblr. Given that she was one of the earliest and most influential Instagram it girls, her follower count seems surprisingly.
Can I see your side, please?
Yeah, you can.
What does that say? Stretch over that way if you don't mind.
It says doll.
It says what?
No, I'm kidding. It says Daryl.
What possessed you to do that?
Honestly, for the plots.
For the plot?
Yeah.
So you admit? So you admit?
Yeah.
You're here for the plot?
No, that's
that's exactly what you said.
Was for.
So you did it for attention?
No, not that. It was just, why not, you know?
Why not? So how many other men do you have tatted?
0. This is my second tattoo.
Ever? Yeah. Second tattoo ever, and it's... I'm not even gonna say because I'm just so caught off guard.
I know.
So can you give me your reasoning behind it? Like your real reasoning and what made you lay on that table and get a man's name that you just met? Or
yeah.
You didn't just meet him or you didn't just meet him?
No, I didn't just meet him.
When did you meet him? No. I'm talking to you. Don't look at this shit. I'm talking to you. Like, don't mind him. When did you meet him?
In 2023. That's when I first met him.
2023? 25? Okay. How'd you guys meet?
It was Dub's yacht party.
Dub's yacht party, his brother.
Yeah.
Who invited you?
Well, Deshae was there.
Hold on. Who invited you to
I ain't invite nobody.
In 2023?
Deshae.
Oh, Deshae did?
Yeah.
So you knew Deshae first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always known Deshae first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all met. Did y'all like vibe, talk? You got his number?
No.
No?
Yeah. Because I respected what he was having going on.
Oh, at the time?
Yeah.
All right, so fast forward after, or, you know, have you seen him again since then, before this?
Yeah.
But when you look back at the amount of impersonation, stolen content, and identity confusion she dealt with, the numbers suddenly make a lot more sense. But that's not the only thing that created a hindrance in her social media career.
So like for you to have deliberately put my man's name on you, is right. I just want to know.
I didn't know that.
Oh no, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying like, you know.
Yeah.
You know. It's like what's understood don't gotta be said type shit.
Presence was surrounded by controversy. While people undeniably loved her pictures and were captivated by her aesthetic, there was also a large portion of the internet that sexualized her, mocked her, or used her bold on for clout. From the beginning, India's content relied heavily on extremely bold photos that showed a lot of skin. She was undeniably beautiful, and she looked far more mature than her actual age, which made people perceive her in a certain way. Even the modeling gigs she received early on portrayed a very grown, highly sexualized manner. A lot of people argued at the time that these shoots were inappropriate and overly provocative for someone her age. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with a professional model choosing to present herself boldly. The problem in India is...
Oh shit, what's that? That's my nigga chain? You had that on? Or is that AI?
Yeah, I had it on.
You had it on?
Yeah, so...
He gave you his chain?
No, I gave it back. It was like a one-day rental.
Oh, I knew he didn't get it.
It was a one-day rental.
It ain't no rental, that motherfucker.
No, for me.
Okay.
It was a rental.
In the height of her Tumblr era, and even shortly after, India was still a minor. She started her public career at just 15 years old, which means many of these modeling assignments were given to her while she was still underage. Yet during that time, instead of holding the adults responsible, people turned their
It was Justin's party stream. That's when she met her again. That's when he met him again.
Justin? No, it was
Jay Cinco.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the shade. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay. Let the lady have the floor.
Why are you here?
He's here because he needs to be. It's okay.
India herself. They began character shaming her, calling her names, accusing her of posting bold photos for attention, using her looks for clout, and portraying her as overly sexual. People also rumors that she had undergone multiple cosmetic surgeries because of how mature her body looked. Many accused her of doing everything she did for male validation, reducing her entire online presence to a stereotype rather than acknowledging the adults who had shaped her public image. What stands out today is how few people question the behavior of the companies hiring her. No one asked why.
He gave you his chain?
No, I gave it back. It was like a one-day rental.
Oh, I knew he didn't get it.
It was a one-day rental.
It ain't no rental. That motherfucker.
No, for me.
Okay,
It was a rent. I was renting
okay.
it out for one.
Okay, so
You messy!
I'm chilling. How you get that chain though?
So you want to know something?
She asked for it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You're totally fine. Don't worry.
What was I gonna say?
So you want to know something?
Oh yeah.
I want to know how you got that chain on your neck.
So what inspired me to get it, because I saw Bronx wearing it first.
Yeah, you was trying to yank it off her neck.
I know, I was being funny. I was like, but
see, that type of shit would get you popped. You see what I'm saying?
But I never had a problem with Bronx, so that's why I knew it wasn't gonna be like that. Now I wouldn't have done that to other girls. Like Bronx was cool with me. Like I liked her.
You never know though. You don't know none of these ladies.
You're right. You don't. I don't know none of them.
Exactly.
At all.
So don't expect shit from nobody.
So you ain't asked to wear it?
I'm about to get there. Yo, you're so messy.
I want to hear. Go ahead.
Actually, bro, I love India, bro.
She was inspired.
Yeah. So we're in the date. Yeah, in the date, I was like, not even the date. The day before, the lounge when we're outside, I wanted to wear it because he had like 3 of them on. Like you know.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course you. Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah, I ain't wore them yet though. So all y'all doing all this.
Because you have your own.
A minor in such bold shoots. No one pointed fingers at the professionals responsible for creating these images, and very few questioned why her parents or guardians allowed her to participate in such work at such a young age. To make matters worse, a large portion of the internet believed India had intentionally lied about her age. This was entirely untrue. Her Tumblr archives and other social media posts clearly showed she was still in high school during her rise. Eventually, people realized she was actually the victim in this situation. Yet she was the one being judged and scrutinized. The adults in the room escaped accountability. As we move further into her story, you'll start to notice...
You know that's cringe to a nigga, right?
Really?
So cringe. You not supposed to ask
ask a nigga, can you wear his chain? The nigga's supposed to be like, baby, put this shit on. You look too good.
I'm done.
Take her chain off her neck. She doing too much over here. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off.
That's proud shit. You grown. I don't remember that shit.
Repeating itself. Throughout her career, her brand gradually shifted from polished Tumblr icon to someone whose entire public image revolved around who she was dating next. Every relationship she entered became a spectacle. The men in her life frequently disrespected her online, threatened to leak her photos, others dragged her publicly, and many weaponized her reputation for attention. And each time, instead of calling out the men involved, the internet turned the blame back onto India. Now, we cannot say she was completely innocent in all of this. As she grew older, she could have made smarter decisions, distanced herself from chaos, or avoided situations that invited unnecessary controversy. But in many ways, she leaned into the drama. She often behaved like someone trying to win the approval of the very people mistreating her, which only attracted more negative attention.
You can try mine and I'll mouth it.
Yeah. Get it with meatballs? Thank you.
Oh my god, I had the spaghetti with meatballs earlier. It was so good.
We're talking about food here, guys.
Oh yeah, where was it?
The story is complicated, not because she's a villain or a saint, but because she grew up online in a world that constantly judged her body, her choices, her relationships, and even her age. And the consequences of that followed her long into adulthood. The most highlighted aspect of India's eventual down.
I did watch the clips back, and I in no shape, way, or form condone bullying of anybody sitting down on these chairs right now. I feel very disrespected just being in the cast and seeing the way that these women were spoken to, calling women losers, talking about women having a white tongue, or walking past our beds talking about how they weren't made, or we had empty chip bags, like you're better than somebody. I would never move at 30 years old like I'm better than anybody sitting in these chairs. So
okay, but how you standing up for the same thing that you doing right now?
as in,
You are doing the same, you are standing up for something that you're doing right now.
yes, because I don't condone bullying, and I feel as though we are regular people here. At the end of the day, I'm leaving here and I'm going back to working 2 jobs. I'm a single mom, meaning I haven't seen my BD in 4 years. I do this every day by myself. You know what I mean? So it's just like, at the end of the day, we're all leaving this. So if nobody's worried about anybody's mental health and
Was also her affiliation, or rumored affiliation, with the long list of high-profile men in the entertainment industry. And some of these men were questionably older than her. Over the years, she was linked to Name Game, Lil Yachty, Soulja Boy, Justin Combs, Drake, Rich the Kid, Rick Ross, Sheck Wes, and many, many others. At one point, the internet shifted its entire option of her. India was no longer just the Tumblr it girl. She became viewed as a socialite who dated influential men for visibility or attention. The speculation got so intense that people were constantly analyzing who she was spotted with, who she was flirting with online, and who she might be dixed. So how did it all start? It began with her first public breakup with her high school boyfriend, Ron.
To where that obviously was the reason why Bronx was eliminated. So when it comes to your past on this show, I'm going to bring it up. Now, if you try to bring up my past, that's okay. My past doesn't define me, nor am I in the competition to compete for Moo. Y'all are. So, if you're upset at me bringing up your past, because that's obvious what the rules were. He was, Deshae, whoever, they were all digging up clips because at the end of the day, y'all claiming to be fighting for Moo's love and y'all want to be Moo's ball and y'all here for Moo. But y'all are at every streamer party. Y'all are at, so clearly y'all here for the plot. As young lady with the tattoo said, she said she did it for the plot. I fuck with you for being honest, little mama. Shit.
Ron was an aspiring football player, getting scouted by Ivy League colleges with a genuinely promising career ahead of him. The two started dating around 2010 when India was about 14. She often shared photos of them on
More up on the show though, instead of all the sexual the dream big shit that's going on. I want to
platforms, and because followers were already obsessed with her, they quickly fell in love with the couple dynamic too. Their fan base even made hashtag Randia. People practically worshipped them. India was beautiful, charismatic, and already iconic online. Ron was tall, athletic, and handsome. Together, their pictures gave power couple energy way before that term even became popular. Blogs reposted their fans rooted for them daily, and many people genuinely saw them as relationship goals. But like most high school romances, this one eventually came to an end. When Ron got scouted by UCLA, everything changed. Around the time India was 18 and entering her senior year, Ron reportedly broke up with her and moved away to college. For regular couples, that
I made this month plus more is going into that motherfucker. And it's only a week long. If I don't average like 40, 50, I think finale I might touch 100 Diddy or like a 150 piece.
Now I did think I would have touched 100,000, but at the same time I'm like, you know where I think I fucked up at? I think I fucked up with the inconsistency prior to
a private heartbreak. But when you're an internet couple, people feel entitled to their opinions. Rumors quickly started circulating. Some accused India of cheating. Others assumed Ron left her because of her bold online persona. People projected every possible narrative onto their breakup. Later in a podcast, India clarified what actually happened, explained that Ron left because he had moved away, was meeting new people, and wanted to start fresh. The breakup happened over the phone, and just like that, their years-long relationship ended. People who genuinely followed India could sense a drastic shift in her demeanor after this breakup. Right around this time, she also turned 18, graduated from high school, and entered adulthood. Almost overnight, she began getting linked to a lineup of high-profile men. Rappers, lead singers. Anyone she interacted with, posed with, or simply stood next to in a photo became a rumored romantic interest. Her once centered around her family life, her selfies, her bold aesthetics, and her rise as an online baddie suddenly shifted. It stopped being about who India Love was and became almost entirely about who she was dating. The internet turned her relation to her identity. And once the narrative took off, people didn't care whether the rumors were true or not. Scandals more than the truth. This period marks the start of a new era for India. The very first major wave of rumors surrounding India Love's dating life came from claims that she was involved with 4 high-profile men at the same time. And these weren't just any men, they were big names. Between 2017, the internet linked her to Brandon Wimberly, Justin Combs, Soulja Boy, and even The Game. Several online blogs pushed the narrative that she was messing with all 4 simultaneously, which is insane considering these outlets had zero evidence. Everything was built on speculation, thoughts, and vibes. Rumors about Indian footballer Brandon Wimberly began after a few pictures of them together online. At the time, Brandon was around 25, while India was barely 8. As always, the internet split itself into 2 camps. Some people dragged India again, calling her a pick-me and accusing her of chasing older men for attention. Others highlighted how inappropriate it was for a 25-year-old man to be even